Well, look, nothing really new about the last game other than the fact that I think the real key in the game was the way we won on the line of scrimmage, both sides of the ball. We're able to control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, and that was probably, the difference in the game. And I think the key for us is attention to detail, to get the little things right, to get corrected so that we can improve as a team, that we can get some of the things corrected that we didn't do exactly right. And, that's going to be a key to us continuing to improve as a team. I like the competitive spirit of our team, the readiness to play in that particular game. But the most important thing is doing that with some kind of consistency. Consistency in performance is the key to success, and we have to use every opportunity we can to improve so that we can do that. We had some outstanding performances. Trent Richardson obviously, was the SEC Player of the Week or Offensive Player of the Week, and had a fantastic game. And I guess, watching the film, the one run that he made, the long run for a touchdown, that was about as good a run as probably. There was a lot of guys that hustled and made a lot of blocks, but they really had us at the line of scrimmage. He made a guy miss, and was a fantastic second effort on his part. A.J. did a really good job in the game, and Chance Warmack, really played well up front defensively. Mark Barron and Nico Johnson, and special teams Drake Kirkpatrick and Vinny Sinceri. From an injury standpoint, we got a couple guys that probably won't go full go today that are a little nicked up, but nobody that we don't expect to be able to practice, tomorrow or throughout the week. Steen, I told you after the game he had a little concussion. Those things we test, and when he gets back to normal, that's when we'll kind of let him go. We don't think, it's that bad, but you never know how guys respond, to those things. I think that, this game coming up is a game that's really important from a tradition standpoint to the University of Alabama. It's important to a lot of people around here. Rivalry games are always games that you have to be ready for. I think we played this team 2 years ago here in a very similar circumstance, and had to block 2 field goals to win, and one at the end of the game. So, this team, Derek has done a really good job with this team. They have had some misfortune this year in terms of personnel, but they're really doing a good job, I think, with the players that they have in every phase, of the game. Offensively, they're very productive. They got a good passing offense, one of the best passing offenses in our league, and they've got a good runner who's the only runner that got over 100 yards against us for a while, and they're creating more balance in their offense now that he's back. Defensively, I think they're much improved from where they were a year ago. I think their statistics kind of bear that out. They're a year older, and they got some young guys playing, but those young guys that are playing are really good players, and they've done a really nice job on special teams. So, we have a lot of respect for this team and what they can do, and certainly need to take care of our business so that we can take care of business.
I know it's not about the individual awards, but with Mark 2 years ago with the Heisman run, just how much positive publicity or positive impact did it have outside of the obvious to the program?
I don't really understand the question.
With Mark's Heisman run, how much positive energy and outside?
I don't think anybody was thinking about it. I don't think anybody cares about it. I don't think Trent cares about it. I think if you ask our players, and I don't think about it either, it's, about what do we have to do to help the team be successful? What do I need to do? What can I do? Our thoughts are completely different than your thoughts, completely. So I don't even know how to answer the question, to be honest with you. Trent's a great player. He's one of the best players in the country. Whatever awards they give at the end of the season, he certainly should be considered for any and all of them that he qualifies for. But for right now, I mean, we're thinking about what we need to do right now. We're not even concerned about that stuff.
Coach, just to go back to your comment about A.J., just you're past the halfway point in the season now, and just talk about the progress he's made and how he's a different quarterback than he was before he had 7 games experience.
Right. Well, you know, A.J.'s played well for us. I think he's improved in every game, and you know, he's done a really good job of managing the game. He did a great job of managing the game this week in terms of getting us in the right plays, you know, getting to the line of scrimmage, showing good leadership. I think the players have confidence in him, and we're executing better as a group, and he's certainly doing his part. And, you know, we're going to have to continue to be able to do that, but not turning the ball over, making good choices and decisions, having balance on offense, which is, you know, certainly something that is important to us being successful. He's done a really good job.
Coach, if the SEC decides to add a 14th team from out west like Missouri, there's been talk that the league could lose the annual Tennessee-Alabama rivalry. Could you just talk about what that would mean to you and your program?
Well, I don't really know much about all that stuff, but whatever the league decides to do, I'm very hopeful that all the traditions and rivalries, and I've said this before, are something that, you know, we can sort of hold dear and make sure that those are things that are important to fans. They're important to programs on both sides, and I think games that players look forward to. And I would certainly not be in favor of anything that didn't allow us continue to have those kind of rivalry games in the future. And I actually haven't heard anything that says we wouldn't. So, you know, you all create so many problems. I mean, I hate to start on this, but whether guys are going out for the draft that shouldn't even be thinking about that right now, whether we're worrying about the Heisman Trophy, now we're worrying about playing Missouri rather than Tennessee sometime down the road. I mean, come on. Let's talk about the game. What year are we talking about when we're not going to play Tennessee? 2025? I'm just hoping that I can still go to the lake then. Still can walk around and go on a pontoon boat ride.
I always have
You got a good question, I hope?
I always got great timing with my questions here.
Yeah, well, if it's not a good one, just pass it on.
You decide. I'm wondering, your defense gets so much attention, but how much is your offense with AJ's maturation, which you already talked about, how much has your offense kind of come along too since you started?
Oh, I think the offense is doing great. I think they have played better and better in each game, and I think, you know, have bailed us out, you know, on the road, giving up big plays early in games on defense and getting behind in games. And the key to those games is, you know, being able to control the ball and showing the maturity to come right back down the field and score. I think those things are critical to being successful. Some other time it might get turned around, but I don't see our defense any more successful than our offense at this point. I think there's things that we need to improve on special teams, and there's certainly things that we can improve on offense and defense, but I think what makes a good team is you have strength and balance in both those areas, and I feel like our team has developed that way this year.
And a second question about Trent. You started out, that was about as good as run as probably ... I'm wondering, maybe you can elaborate. Is that something that even you kind of rewounded and watched a couple times when you were watching?
Yeah, I really, you know, was sort of amazed at you know, not only the ability to make the run, but the tenacity and toughness that, you know, Trent played with the entire game. And he'll be the first guy to talk about the offensive line, and probably all the other yards that he gained some on his own, but they did a good job of blocking those plays. But they kind of had us on that play, and he made a great individual effort to make people miss. And, you know, that's what great players do. You know, they kind of make plays above and beyond, and he certainly did that on that occasion.
Your defense is ranked #1 in almost all the major statistical categories. Is it time they got a nickname, and do you have any suggestions for them?
No, I don't have any nicknames for them. I'm just, wanting to play better, not give up a 65-yard and a 59-yard pass in the beginning of the game. Get off the field on third down, eliminate the big plays, and continue to play the way we're capable of playing, and stay focused on what we need to do to improve as a team. I mean, that's something that I guess people like you should be doing. I've got to give nicknames to stuff that we do during the game so the other team doesn't know what we're doing. So that's about the extent of my sort of imagination to come up with
It's an
names.
interesting collection of personalities on that defense, though. As a group, do they have a different personality than other defenses you coached?
Well, I think that there's always a combination when you have a good unit, offense, defense, or anything. First of all, you got to have some togetherness. There's got to be some chemistry. I think that we probably have that, as a team, but certainly, on the individual units on our team and on our defense. I think there's also got to be a certain amount of physical toughness, sort of a competitive spirit, attitude, whatever, which I think, is pretty good, with this group. And, they are all kind of responsible for making sure they do their job. You're only kind of as strong as your weakest link, and I think they have a lot of pride, and everybody wants to go out there and try to do their job the best that they can, and I think all the other players expect that as well. And they work hard, and they've worked hard. I think our team has worked hard.
Coach, wanted to ask you about Chance Warmack's progress because, he was in a very competitive situation just to win the starting job, and how's he done, through Game 7?
Well, Chance has played better and better and better each week, and probably just had his best game. But he's a very physical player, and I think that our offensive line has really sort of improved, and as they've improved, we've kind of improved as an offensive unit, and, Chance is a big part of that. So, just got to keep those guys going in the right direction, and I think we can have success offensively based on our ability to control the line of scrimmage and protect the passer and not let the other team affect the quarterback.
And if I could, one more about AJ. Are there things maybe you're asking him to do now that maybe you were hesitant to ask him to do in week 1, 2, 3? Or has he just been more consistent?
Well, whatever we're asking him to do, he has been able to take it, and I think Jim has done a good job of sort of, how he's sort of fed what he is capable of doing, and that's sort of accumulated, as the season goes on, and he's done a really good job of it. But, we got quite a few experienced players around, which I think is also helpful. There's a pretty good personality in that group. There's good leadership, lots of stability, and I think that has been helpful. But I also think AJ has helped with his maturity, his leadership, and the confidence the other players around him have gotten in his ability to have the poise to do the things that he has been able to effectively do on a pretty consistent basis.